I love Rakhi Sawant's paparazzi posts. I love it. I think that woman is so entertaining. It would have to be Priyanka Chopra because she's one person who's achieved great heights in her career.
Right.
Hi, this is Barkha Singh and you're watching me on the Sunny G show by RJD Luxury Destinations. It was a super fun interview and I think we had a lovely chat, spoke about a lot of things that were not related to projects, spoke about a lot of things that are very close to my heart and dear to my heart. Basically, I've poured my heart out. So make sure you check out this video, show it a lot of love, share it, subscribe to Shobojit's channel and show us both a lot of love. Thank you.
मेरे दोस्तों, when you see her, my guest over here today, you don't just dream of becoming an actress, you don't just dream of becoming a performing artist, you dream about mastering the art of actually doing multiple things all at the same time and successfully. I have with me my very dear friend Barkha Singh over here. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me your time,
Hi.
precious time for this very interesting initiative. It's not been too long that I've started this.
Yes.
So anybody who supports me in this venture gets 2x the support, 2x the hug from my end because I genuinely love all those people who have been there with me.
As
right
they
now.
say, catch them while they're young.
Absolutely.
Like, but jokes apart, no, yeah. I think we go back a long way.
Yeah.
So when you asked me, I think it was a no-brainer. Of course, we had to do this.
Thank you so much. It was very sweet and the biggest reason why I'm so happy today is because you're project-centric nahi hai.
Yes.
So we're going to be having a freewheeling chat about a lot of things in life.
I think we've always spoken very project-centric, show promotions.
So abhi that is the fun. I want to know something. कुछ देर पहले, I would say कुछ दिन पहले, when I googled Barkha Singh, I saw this thing where there was an article about you, which said that the headline कुछ था ऐसा, जहाँ पे it said कि your friends tell you that you tend to undervalue yourself a lot.
ये कौन सा article है? तो मैंने नहीं पढ़ा है.
So it was not your quote.
I don't know. मतलब like I keep talking a lot in these kind of interviews.
So ऐसा कुछ था जहाँ पे where it was said, using your quote, I can show that to you as well once the chat is done.
Please.
कि you said your friends feel that you personally undervalue yourself a lot. तो मुझे वो जानना है कि because given the kind of variation that you have had in your work, the kind of journey that you have had, of course it's important to be on your toes and not get complacent. But I don't relate with that undervalue part. So ये क्या गलत है कि क्या सीन है? Please clarify.
I mean, it's true. मैं surprised थी because ये मैं सोची मैंने ये बोला किसको था कि ये
एकदम तगड़ा research करके आए थे.
हाँ, काफी सही research की है.
Yeah.
But no, I think the perspective behind this was that as a person, I wouldn't say underconfident, but I don't know how to put this. Like I don't think what others think of me. So like a lot of times I hear my friends saying, "You are Barkha," and I'm like,
no airs about yourself.
Not about airs also. I think it's like I hate to accept it, but I think it's lack of confidence. I wouldn't say lack of confidence. I think
it's just humility at a higher level.
Yeah, वो भी नहीं है. I don't know. I feel maybe that what my aspirations and what my goals are and where I am at just now are like there's a काफी बड़ा फासला है. So for me, I think that's why I'm just like नहीं यार because in my head I want to be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's why, and maybe that's why also like when releases come out or there's a film that's released or there's a show that's released, I'm always like, okay, maybe I could have done this better, maybe that could have been better. But like where my friends are just like, dude, this was really good, or dude, like you've had 5 releases last year. That's so cool. But for me, it's just like, but like could have been 6.
Yeah.
So I think that's the perspective behind where that comes from.
But I'll tell you the good side of it. Iska good side ये है कि when you're constantly pushing yourself beyond that extra limit, that is where you actually think. If you think of becoming Tom Cruise, then only you become that or something close to that.
Yes.
अगर आपके dreams and aspirations high नहीं रहेंगे, you're not going anywhere in life. So I think that's a great thing, great trait to have. You know, I mentioned in the introduction itself कि you are someone जिसको देख के girls they feel कि यार मतलब the kind of journey that she has had, ये कर सकती है successfully with hard work, even we can do it. And the best thing is that because you don't have that background of a film, it has not been served to you in a platter. They feel they can relate to your journey. So I have few model friends over there who are also trying to make it big, and they crack that acting job, वगैरह, etc. They talk about you. They talk about a few other names as well. And I understand where they come from, because आप लोगों के साथ भी जो भी जर्नी रहा है वो easy नहीं रहा है. Tell me that one point of time where perhaps in your early days, initial days, when you just started becoming Barkha Singh, उस time पे a moment of self-doubt that was created because of someone else.
I mean, the profession we are in, to be very honest, every day आपको कोई ना कोई self doubt create कराता है, right? Because you're so out there in the public domain. Everyone has something to say about how you're looking, how you're acting, how you're walking, how you're talking, how you're dressing, how your hair is, how your makeup is. Like, everyone obviously has a opinion and a perspective, and that's also like rightfully and fair enough, because we are also putting ourselves out there to be judged. So yeah, I mean, every day there's an opportunity to face self doubt here, but I think trick, or at least what I have kind of learned, is that अगर आप distinguish कर लो ना actually constructive criticism क्या है और time pass बोलने के लिए criticism क्या है, उसमें फिर काफी help मिल जाती है. Then you, because see, constructive criticism is also important ना, like
it helps you to get better, of course.
100%. और कभी-कभी आपको लगता है कि मैंने तो ये बहुत अच्छा किया है, लेकिन बहुत गंदा किया था, so you need that someone to tell you कि this thing. So I think as long as you can distinguish between constructive criticism and criticism just for the heck of it, self doubt तो आपको हर रोज कोई ना कोई दिलाएगा.
So you master that art of filtering ki which is a good feedback for me and which is a not so useful feedback for me. Has that come from experience?
Yeah, it's come from experience. It's come from a lot of people also, kind of tell you when, like, you work with different actors, people who have been around much longer than you. Like, they also kind of share their learnings, their experiences with you. Like, in fact, just yesterday, someone was telling me that don't let anyone affect your zen too much.
Yeah.
Like,
I love the word zen. I also use that quite a lot.
Yeah. They're like, don't let anyone touch your zen. क्योंकि बहुत चीजें होती हैं सेट पे, कोई कुछ भी, like 100 things happen. कितने सारे लोग होते हैं, यूनिट होती है 150 लोगों की, at least for like one this thing. तो उसमें कोई कुछ भी बोल दिया, you're giving 150 opportunities to spoil your zen. तुम्हारा वो इतना पक्का होना चाहिए कि कोई कुछ भी बोल दे, मेरा zen खराब नहीं होगा. So these are experiences that senior actors, people who have been around for so long, they share with you. So it's a learning process. जो कुछ चीजें आप खुद से सीखते हो, कुछ चीजें when you're lucky enough to work with some great senior actors, वो सिखा देते हैं.
मुझे एक बात बताओ, of course we'll be talking about the great stuff that's there, and of course the great stuff that's going to unfold in the future, but कोई ऐसा मौका that you perhaps recollect from your life, early days, again when you were on the verge of becoming Barkha Singh. Say for example, I have this friend, she's also an actress right now, but उनके साथ, and I think not just her, a lot of people have faced that कि media जो है, they had gone to a red carpet event, the media cameras and all were on them, and suddenly somebody bigger in terms of star and stature walked in, and camera पूरा pan होके घूम गया, किसी ने भाव नहीं दिया.
I remember reading this article जो आप बोल रहे हो.
So I think you can also understand whom I am talking about. But I want to know कि ऐसा कभी you have faced or anything similar to this where you felt कि शायद आपको आपका due recognition उस moment में नहीं मिला हो, and अगर ऐसा हुआ है, how did you channelize that into a sort of positive motivation to ensure कि चलो यार आज तुमने मेरे को ऐसे treat किया, 2 years down the line you see what I do with myself and my work, and then it will not happen. ऐसा कोई scenario can you recollect?
Yeah, but this acting वाले space में मेरे को नहीं आ रहा है. But I work a lot with a lot of tourism boards, like different countries का official tourism boards, whether it's Australia, whether it's Finland, whether it's Copenhagen, like all these Copenhagen बोल रही हूँ, Denmark.
Yeah.
So I remember there was a point when I was just out of college, and मेरे को हमेशा से traveling का बहुत शौक था. Like even during college, I used to go for solo trips and all. So I saw like a bunch of people used to work with like tourism boards, whether they were actors, whether they were content creators. तो मुझे भी काम करना था with tourism boards. I'm like, wow यार, एक तो घुमाते हो, फिर उसके लिए पैसे भी देते हैं आपको. Wow. So I wanted to do that. So I remember reaching out to a lot of tourism boards. So this time nothing obviously worked out. People are like, no, why would someone invest in you? Or like, obviously they had their own circle they wanted to
Innovations.
reach out of. So when that kind of flipped, and it's funny you said 2 years, because in a span of 2 years only it flipped. So that was the feeling that I got, and like, but I was not vengeful at all when they like, if I'd reached
You
out to them.
focused on your part, baki everything unfolded on its own. अपने आप जो होता गया, वो होता गया.
Yeah. Like when I had reached out to them, they were like, no, okay, you send an email here, you send an email there. घुमाते रहते हैं ना, they have their own ways. But few years later, 1-2 years later, when they reached out to me, I took it with both hands. मैंने नहीं बोला कि I had reached out and you did.
तुमने attitude दिखाया.
कुछ नहीं. I was like, अच्छा, yeah, 100%, let's do it.
You're one of the very few actresses around जो कि full time, देखो, collaborations बोलो, I think it's a great space to be at, because
100.
sometimes what happens is that it gives you that extra breather to take a lot more time to select what you want next. ऐसा कोई pressure नहीं है.
Bang on.
Finances का
100%.
कि अरे यार नहीं, I have to take it on.
Yes.
It doesn't affect your project or filmography or decision making process.
Yes, yeah.
So I love that. I know a lot of actors who do that because of that aspect.
100%.
But you, तुम्हारा जो मैं देखता हूँ Instagram, I realize कि Barkha Singh has two sides to her personality. One is a full-time actress and one is a full-time content creator. Absolutely full-time when I say this in the best way possible. So there's a lot of ideation that goes. तुम्हारे पास कोई suppose script है जिसके बारे में तुम rehearse कर रहे हो, prepare कर रहे हो, but at the same time there's this pressure कि oh my god, I have to make this, make that. ये, of course, it's interesting as well, which is why you're doing that so wonderfully.
Yeah.
But do you sometimes feel कि वो जो interest point है, कभी-कभी it reaches a stage of challenge or pressure where you feel कि अरे यार अभी नहीं करूँगी तो then it might look not so good for my audience, for my fans, because they have certain level of expectation as well from you.
No, ऐसे कभी दिमाग में आया नहीं है, but जो चीज हुई है is a saturation point internally where I've reached. Not for acting, because there, like, it's a skill that you are kind of honing over this thing. But when you're creating, it's also like writing and doing this and doing that. So sometimes if I have to create something, उसमें कभी-कभी saturation हो जाता है, and I just like leave it aside for a bit. And obviously people who are used to seeing your content regularly, they reach out कि क्या हुआ क्या नहीं हुआ. But then it's a simple answer. That's the beauty of doing two jobs. You can just be like, मैं shoot कर रही हूँ. And actually that is generally the time where you're so saturated by shooting for 12 hours, 13 hours every day. Long format होते हैं तो 60 days तो कहीं नहीं गया आपका. 45 to 60 days का schedule तो होते ही होते हैं.
Absolutely.
So in the middle of that, then creating content gets difficult. But then I think that way, even the people who are part of my community online know कि अगर ये नहीं कर रही है, कुछ ये पक्का shoot कर रही होगी, and I'm like, इसमें नहीं तो उसमें देख लेना.
कुछ ना कुछ आ जाएगा.
आ जाएगा. हाँ.
Figure it out.
हाँ. मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म पे नहीं होगा तो OTT पे आ जाएगा.
But tell me about the reactions of your family, because I'm sure they must be very proud. आसान नहीं होता है ऐसे बाहर से आके to kind of create a space. Of course, like you said already, कि in your mind you want to be Tom Cruise. And of course, I hope by God's grace you become that what you want.
Thank you.
But even if you have not reached that level yet, you've made your space, you've made your identity. People know Barkha Singh, people recognize Barkha Singh. And I think for an artist who want their art to be realized and recognized, that is the best feeling.
Dude, yeah.
When young girls or young fans, the little ones, etc., they see you, they come up to you and say that Barkha, मैंने आपको इधर देखा, उधर देखा. Maybe someone also थोड़ा मजाक तरीके से can also confess about we have a huge crush on you, etc.
हाँ, नहीं, लोग बहुत seriously बोलते हैं, वो मजाक में नहीं बोलते हैं, बहुत seriously बोलते हैं.
So do you sometimes feel overwhelmed with the kind of love and appreciation that you get?
I feel very happy, yaar. I feel very good. And again, this ties us back to the first question you asked me, where you kind of underestimate yourself. And this again, I'm realizing, क्योंकि जब आप खुद को actually underestimate करते हो, आपको तो नहीं पता रहता है ना, आप underestimate कर रहे हो.
So बाहर वाले लोग जब आके
feel
कराते हैं,
तो हाँ पता चल रहा है. So I'll tell you how I know this also, because there are lots of times जब आप कहीं जाते हो, तो a lot of people, as you said, come. Or like, so my friend circle, जो main core friend circle is out of the industry, and that's something I've consciously kept, because I think as a person also, and for everyone, not just our industry, everyone needs like a little gap and a break from your workplace, right?
थोड़ा vacuum होना चाहिए.
हाँ. So a lot of them are college friends, childhood friends, school friends who don't care about anything I'm acting in, what I'm creating. They don't care. So my environment is that where like it's very like non-acting. Oh, Barkha's an actor. Barkha's is nothing. So sometimes you end up putting photos with them, stories with them, and they reshare. Then they are like, bro, तेरे साथ तो हमको reshare करना ही नहीं है because our office colleagues, 10 साल पुराने लोग जिनसे 10 साल पुरानी बात भी नहीं हुई है, they be like, oh, you know, Barkha. So that's when you get to know कि, okay, I have managed to reach out a bunch of people, not just obviously through Instagram, but mainly actually through acting gigs. So it's a very good feeling, yeah. It's actually a very good feeling. I think then all the other difficult times feel worth it.
You know, I spoke about self-doubt at a point of time. You mentioned कि लोग self-doubt बहुत feel कराते हैं almost every other day.
Yeah.
But कभी ऐसा खुद की जिंदगी में point आया है where you, like you mentioned, that perhaps you felt कि I'm perhaps reaching a saturation point. I'm doing a lot of this on OTT. Why am I not getting to do this? And I think that happens with a lot of ambitious and aspirational people because you're never really satisfied with what you are getting. Of course, you respect and value that. But one thing is valuing and one thing is having that ambition to go that extra mile.
Yeah.
But उस चक्कर में कभी-कभी we tend to take a lot of pressure. Like मैंने खुद का ये चालू किया है. I'm doing it with the entertainment industry. I've just started with cricketers. I want to go into the entrepreneur space.
Right.
So वो मैं दिन में मैं सोचता रहता हूँ. Like रात के 2 AM, 3 AM, I have these thoughts कि यार किसको reach out कर सकता हूँ? How do I say? So I'm sure actors का भी अलग challenge होगा. How do you handle all that in terms of, because दिन में 24 घंटे होते हैं, काम भी करना होता है, खुद का ध्यान भी रखना होता है, ये सब planning भी करना होता है. How do you actually bifurcate your time and allocate accordingly?
So you've asked me 2-3 questions. अभी किसका आंसर दूं पहले?
एक साथ जवाब.
How I allocate and bifurcate my time is compartmentalizing. That's very important. कि जब आप see, because also taking care of yourself, as you rightly said, like your workouts and your fitness and
because
everything.
वो ठीक नहीं रहेगा, others will also take
dwindle. Correct. So I think compartmentalizing is how I'm able to manage. उसके पहले क्या पूछा था? इतना लंबा question है. I only forgot.
I said कि you mentioned about the fact कि there was a lot of self doubt, etc. कभी ऐसा कोई moment रहा है self doubt का जहाँ पे you feel कि you are perhaps doing good stuff?
Correct. Correct. So that in terms of from an acting perspective होता है when you feel, yeah, I mean I did feel some time ago कि यार rom-com ही कर रही हूँ मैं. Everywhere I'm a girl next door. I don't want to be a girl next door. I want to be a bad girl. I want to be like a twisted girl. I want to be an unstable girl.
You can be an action hero as well.
I want to be an action girl. I want to be a cop. I want to be a mafia. Like there's so many things I want to do. So yeah, in that way, if you say, you do kind of feel, well, you're again very happy doing what you're doing because that is what people love you for. Bhook hoti hai na as an actor. So you also want to do new stuff. But in my next release, which I won't be able to talk too much about, but usme I've had the chance to kind of
do something different.
Explore like a very grungy, very raw, de-glammed version of myself जो मैंने कभी नहीं किया है. So I guess if you want it hard enough, आपको मिल जाता है. And then after a point, I think, while everyone says it's a very competitive industry and all of that, I think it also has a lot to offer to a lot of people.
Right.
तो I mean, अब हमारे हाथ में क्या होता है? कोशिश करो. You put the word out there. You tell your management कि okay, this is what I'm looking at. You know, you keep an eye out for certain kind of projects. But after that, you just got to be happy doing what you're doing. So yeah.
मुझे एक चीज बताओ. I feel this is my perspective. Again, I might be right, I might be wrong. देखो, mediums में कोई difference नहीं होता. Cinema हो,
no,
TV
yeah,
हो, video, it's different. But like you had 5 releases last year on OTT. यही 5 releases. I'm just giving you a situation. अगर से सिनेमा में होता, I think the buzz जो होता है, the news making ability, perhaps would have been a lot more. But I feel a lot of people, your niche fans will of course know that, oh, Barkha had these 5 releases. But a lot of people might not know because it's on OTT. There's a lot of clutter on OTT as well. Do you feel that कि अगर वो same space अगर movie, because अगर 5 releases is not a joke. कि पहले के जमाने में होता था 90s में, where people used to have juggle between multiple sets, तब जाके उतने releases
और फिर अक्षय कुमार,
of course. But आजकल you don't see that, because today the focus is like एक project चालू करेंगे, एक खत्म करेंगे, उसके बाद we'll have move on, और max to max 2 handle करेंगे एक साथ, उससे ज्यादा नहीं. पहले क्या होता था कि एक shift कर रहे इस project का, उसके बाद शाम को shift करेंगे दूसरा, night shift करेंगे उसका.
वो तो मैंने नहीं किया था.
So you have not done, but still 5 projects is not a joke. So यही अगर movies में होता, you think the buzz would have been a lot more?
Yeah, I don't know, because I think times are also changing. A lot of people, like, while you still have that charm of going to a theatre and watching films, a lot of people are also very happy sitting and watching content from the comfort of their own home. So, I don't know if I feel this, what you're saying. Maybe hota buzz or, but I'm also not unhappy by the way this happened.
Right.
हो जाएगा buzz.
I hope the same, and जैसे like you're dominating in the OTT space, I hope वो cinema and everywhere else as well you dominate. Let's come to a little bit of fun stuff as well. Of course, we're talking about your career, etc. Fun stuff में मैं ऐसा बोलूँगा कि there's a lot of curiosity about you. कि Barkha is so pretty. Does Barkha have anyone in her life?
I knew where this is going. I knew it.
तो मुझे बस बताओ. I don't, of course, you don't have to make any special revelations वगैरह. वो आपका personal life है, and I respect that space.
Yeah.
But मुझे please बताओ where perhaps while after becoming an actor, perhaps when you have dated somebody, are you seeing someone? Yes or no का scene अगर है तो, अगर किया था, like if there was a breakup that kind of motivated you into becoming and kind of pushing yourself more कि मैं ज्यादा काम पे ध्यान दूंगी, ऐसा कोई situation हुआ था आपकी जिंदगी में without taking names or without taking anything?
मुझे नहीं पता. मुझे कुछ नहीं पता सारी. No, I mean I've always been rather secretive about that.
But any, say for example, any जैसे मेरे बोलो या a lot of people like during their teenage बोलो, college days बोलो, दिल टूटता है and they kind of focus कि नहीं यार मतलब हुआ तो हुआ, it doesn't matter, I will focus on my work and I'll get the right thing done. ऐसा कोई heartbreak story that you can perhaps remember from your childhood or even college? I'm not saying कि कोई details बता दो, because I know this video will be watched by a lot of young people as well who also go through breakups and heartbreaks, right? But still heartbreaks के बाद भी आप अपने आप को lift करके जिंदगी में कुछ कर सकते हो. ऐसा कुछ हुआ है आपके साथ where you perhaps lifted yourself from, say, the ashes and rose like a phoenix?
Not really, no. I mean, in terms of heartbreak department, not really. But I mean, there's been other stuff, like loss of someone or something.
That is even deeper.
So again, by virtue of a profession, या तो अगर आपकी तबीयत खराब है or whatever you're going through in personal life, if you're showing up to work, you gotta be in that character. And very honestly, it's not that difficult, to snap out. It might be difficult till the time you're walking on set. It'll be difficult. Right. But एक बार you actually start shooting now, it's actually it's a relief almost from that emotional turmoil. It's a relief क्योंकि at that time आपका सब focus, because you can't I mean ये at least मेरा मानना है, you can't possibly perform a scene without being in it 100%.
Absolutely.
Because दिख जाता है यार, and these days by the way the kind of lens, anamorphic lens people are using and the way scenes are being written now, Sunny, even an eye movement that is not needed in the scene, वो खटकता है, वो दिखता है. So it's not possible. कुछ नहीं छुपता है. So it's not possible to do something without being in it 100%. And the reason I'm saying this is to prove the point that actually when you start working now, irrespective of what's happening in your life, that's actually an escape.
Yes,
For
exactly.
me,
that's what I was mentioning.
Shooting is an escape. So मैं उस way में नहीं बोलूँगी कि ओ ये सब हो रहा है फिर भी I am coming on set. In fact, जब गंदा होता है, and I know it's a very escapist mindset, but I look forward to coming on set and escaping that everything for a bit.
But escapist mindset हो या कुछ भी हो, whatever works for that particular individual,
makes you get through the day.
वही important चीज है. सब individual का अलग-अलग तरीका होता है.
कुछ artists होते हैं जो channelize करते हैं वो. Their heartbreaks or not very happy things.
I think I would relate myself to that category of
people. Who channelize.
मतलब चलो ठीक है हुआ है, but ठीक है जिंदगी is not over. Let me focus more on myself. अपने ऊपर ध्यान दूंगा, बाकी things will follow on its own. So I'm more of that person. But again,
before you get there, there's always a transition phase.
Absolutely.
वो तो मतलब आपका heartbreak होता है, फिर आपका एक phase होता है बीच में, और फिर वहाँ आते हैं जो आप बोल रहे हो. So in that middle phase is what I'm talking about, where it's just like a escape working.
You know, Madhuri Dixit, Majama.
Yeah.
When I saw, I think I messaged you as well at
Yeah.
that point of time. I loved it, and the way ma'am has also, you know, come back, you know, all guns blazing in the
Of
OTT space.
course.
You talk about Fame Game, you
Yeah,
talk about Majama
yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Sushmita Sen is there,
Yeah.
Alia 3,
Tali. Yeah.
So again, एक टाइम पे ऐसा कहा जाता था कि cinema would be the topmost thing.
Yeah.
But now the greatest of film stars are creating their niche in OTT because they realize the potential.
Yes.
But I can very proudly say that even before the OTT platform realized the Sushmita Sen or a Madhuri Dixit, they realized a Barkha Singh. And genuinely I say this because ये है. You can take this as a fact in terms of आपका filmography बोलो, आपका timeline बोलो, tenure बोलो, that has been the case. I'm not comparing your stardom with them. Of course, it cannot be compared. But अगर मैं सिर्फ platform के बारे में बोलूँ या OTT medium के बारे में बोलूँ, of course, Barkha Singh was recognized in OTT a lot before Sushmita Sen. How do you see this change in terms of pattern and perspective? Because एक time पे ऐसा लोगों को पूछा जाता था, I'm sure you have also been asked a lot of times, कि चलो बरखा OTT तो बहुत कर रहे हो, movies में कब आना है? But now क्या फर्क पड़ता है? मूवी करते हो, नहीं करते हो, आता है करूँगा, नहीं आता है तो नहीं करूँगा. But पहले आपको पूछा जाता था तब ऐसा कभी आपको महसूस कराया गया कि OTT तो चलो ठीक है, but still cinema is considered higher. ऐसा कभी आपको feel कराया गया?
I mean, it's honestly a mindset. कुछ लोगों का कुछ mindset होता है. Some people even now believe that cinema is superior or not superior. I come from a school of thought where I feel that two things. A, change is the only constant. आपका landscape हमेशा change होता रहेगा. And the reality of the current times is that बहुत मतलब बन रहे हैं वेब पे शोज बन रहे हैं and a lot of people are watching it, whether that was because of the pandemic कि उसकी popularity और increase हो गई or whatever, but the fact of the matter is people are very happy watching content from the comfort of their own
Absolutely.
home. And B, my job and my aspirations as an actor is to reach out to audiences, is to act. अब वो acting आपको film में दिखे, theater में दिखे या web series में दिखे,
क्या फर्क?
मुझे नहीं पड़ता. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, this perspective.
That's your opinion.
This is my opinion, very very personally. कि I want people to see the thing. I want people to relate to it. I want people to connect to it. I want people to cry when I'm crying. I want people to smile when I'm smiling.
Right.
I want people to feel all warm and fuzzy when I'm romancing. So you know, like, so उसके लिए it doesn't matter. जहाँ ज़्यादा लोग देख रहे हैं, I'm happy with that. अगर बहुत ज़्यादा लोग नहीं देख रहे होते वेब, maybe then it would, like, you know, मेरे दिमाग में ये ख्याल आता. हाँ, but अभी नहीं आया मेरे दिमाग में ऐसा कुछ. Not saying that again, I don't value theatrical release. But I'm at the same time, I'm not unhappy with being in web. And in fact, wanting to do stuff on web was something I actually actively worked towards. I really wanted to. Because earlier, and very few people know this, and बहुत कम काम किया था, but I was doing it Saas Bahu serials. I started with GEC, which again was great in its own right. But as a 21-year-old, I couldn't relate. So for me, the most relatable things were on web at that time. So wanting to be on web is something I worked towards. So how can I ever be unhappy or dissatisfied with something that I got that I actually actively worked towards?
What I want to know is that, like you mentioned, initially, of course, not initially, I mean, there's this side where people come up to you and say, they express their love and affection for you. इसका एक दूसरा side भी है, which we popularly call trolling.
हाँ.
Do you face that at all? होता है, because I'm sure एक तो है कि when you say कि you undervalue yourself, वैसा नहीं है. You tend to remain on your toes and be humble in terms of what you want to achieve in life. तो वो अलग scene है, but कभी-कभी वो जो negativity भी है, say you know, maybe after you're seen wearing something, उसको लेके किसी ने कुछ comment कर दिया, या फिर से आपने किसी के साथ photo आपने डाला, उसको लेके किसी ने comment कर दिया. And people can actually comment on anything and everything without any reason. Given the vibe that you're giving with your answer right now, I feel that you don't care. But was it always the case that you never cared about trolling? कभी भी affect नहीं हुआ?
Honestly, and I'll tell you very honestly, भगवान थैंक यू, आई एम वेरी लकी, बट मेरे को नहीं करते लोग
That's
ज्यादा
what-
ट्रोल. प्लीज मत करना
Yeah.
अभी. कंटिन्यू टू नॉट.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I've been touchwood very lucky to
Right.
not be
Right.
trolled. But जो थोड़ा बहुत कभी कभी होता है ऐसे टाइम पास के लिए ये वो, which brings me back to the thing कि I think obviously पहले बहुत इफेक्ट करता था, रोना धोना भी होता था and all. Obviously नहीं यार, if someone's talking something about you बुरा तो लगता है. But it just brings you back to that thing कि you learn to dissociate from it's very important to not be so attached. Attached is the word.
Right.
You shouldn't be too attached to even the good stuff,
Yeah.
even the bad stuff.
Right.
ये नहीं कि आप good stuff से एकदम जोर से attach हो गए और bad stuff से आप detach हो गए. It doesn't
Correct.
work that way. So I think in general, like, be attached to your craft, be attached to your work, be attached to your responsibilities as an actor. Don't be attached to the fruit and the outcome of it. That can be good or bad, and a lot of times that's beyond your control.
Yeah.
वो होता है after the bullet has left the gun.
Yeah.
So I think just not being attached to it, and then अगर हो भी रहा है तो as I mentioned earlier, आप देखो what is constructive, what is any आपको उड़ाने के लिए. तो I think there are coping mechanisms
but कभी
around
किसी
it.
के ऊपर ऐसा इतना गुस्सा नहीं आया कि मन कर रहा है इसको जाके हो सके तो इंस्टाग्राम के अंदर जाके घुस के मारो. ऐसा कभी किसी को फील नहीं हुआ where somebody is being unnecessarily mean to you just for the sake of it, just because say you're a lot more popular, you're a lot more richer, whatever.
मेरे को actually नहीं
Which is good then.
हुआ
I'm
है,
glad.
touchwood. और अगर हुआ भी है, मैंने उसको इतनी गंदे से उससे zone out किया है that I'm not remembering it also anymore.
Then I don't want you to
Yeah,
get into that zone.
I think let's leave it.
नहीं.
But actually, I'm trying to think. इतना कुछ nothing. I think honestly, I've been very lucky and blessed कि whether it is web shows or even if I'm not, say if someone feels कि I could have done better.
They've said it in a nice
They
and
say
respectful
it,
manner.
yeah, they say it in a nice
Dignified
way only.
way.
हाँ, like even if I'm not wearing something nice or अगर नहीं अच्छी लग रही है, कोई गंदी फोटो आ गई है, I don't know, no one's really said it in a very bad way, or I've become so thick-skinned कि मेरे को बुरा लगता ही नहीं है. So I don't know what it is, but nothing that's coming to mind.
Then let it be. I don't want you to get. अगर ऐसा by chance कुछ हुआ, I don't want to get into
Okay,
that. So
okay.
let it be. What's your take on the paparazzi culture? जो है
हाँ.
everywhere, cameras, etc. Always.
I'm a consumer of it.
So, but sometimes do you feel कि actors का जो है, say when they're not in a professional space or when they're not there to meet their fans, do you sometimes feel कि एक line कुछ draw होना चाहिए? Like say 2 days back I saw some celebrity कोई डॉक्टर के क्लिनिक पे गए थे.
Oh.
So वहाँ पे
That's not cool.
So वहाँ पे they were like कि this that etc. smile photo sir ये वो वगैरह. मुझे जानना है what's your take on this कि अगर है तो of course you're a consumer it of course because people love you and people want to see you.
नहीं consumer मतलब मैं दूसरों को पैप हुए होते हुए देखती हूँ. I love Rakhi Sawant's paparazzi posts.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that woman is so entertaining.
Have you seen the recent one जहाँ पे वो cricket में विराट कोहली बन के she was
I've seen everything. I'm an avid consumer of that. No, but I get your question, and obviously there should be a line drawn.
एक incident मुझे याद है. I think Ranbir and Alia, they were not very comfortable in showing their baby's face.
Girl, yes.
But somebody from the media कुछ I think telezoom या पता नहीं क्या zoom lens लेके फोटो बच्चे का दिखा दिया था. And of course naturally they got very pissed as parents.
Yeah.
So मैं आपसे ये साइड के बारे में पर्सपेक्टिव आपका जानना चाहता हूँ कि अगर कभी भी आपके साथ ऐसा कुछ हुआ, how will you react? Honest, genuine opinion.
I mean, I don't know what you can do, Sunny. After a point, once it's out, it's out. Like the max you can do is ask, like figure a way to take it down. Or
but once it's there on the internet, फिर गया मतलब
फिर हो गया. But the flip side to that is a lot of people also do paid paps now. I don't know ये बोलना है नहीं
ये बोलना है. I mean, it's true. I mean, true. अगर आप comment section पे जाओगे paparazzi के वहाँ पे, आप देखोगे कि पहले this is an average comment जो मैं बता सकता हूँ कि पहले खुद ही बुलाते और फिर खुद ही बोलते कि अरे आप लोग यहाँ पे क्या कर रहे हो. So this is definitely there with a lot of people. Of course.
Like कैसे किसी को सपना पड़ेगा कि एसी जगह से एसी टाइम पे ये इंसान निकलने वाला है अगर like tip off नहीं. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think it's But yeah, like you know, when it's invading someone's personal space, I think everyone is entitled to a personal space.
Absolutely.
No matter how big a star you are.
Absolutely.
No matter
Just because
how
public
you are.
figure हो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि आप public
आपका
property हो.
exactly.
There's a huge
very
difference.
well put. Very
There's
well
a huge
put.
difference.
So, but I've also seen times when like you know, like if someone doesn't want to be seen a certain way or doesn't want to do a certain way, even the paparazzi people, some of them are actually very nice.
Absolutely.
They will help you out. They will not like you know click और कोई और करे they will like ये बंद करना.
नहीं वो भी ऑडियो सब सुनते हैं हम लोग.
हाँ वो सब videos में आता है. So I don't know यार like but हाँ जिनका like ऐसे personal space invade होता है, that is very sad because ठीक है यार, everyone's entitled to privacy.
You know, over the years, of course, there have been many successful people. We tend to take inspiration. देखते हैं हम उनका journey, उनका career graph वगैरह. अगर मैं आपको पूछूं that one actress, Indian entertainment space हो, बाहर हो, जिनके journey के साथ you have genuinely related a lot and you feel like कि अगर इनके तरह मैं बन गई या फिर इनके career के अगर मुझे 50% भी मिल गया, I feel I have accomplished something in life. Who is that one person अगर आपको एक नाम लेने के लिए बोला जाए तो?
It would have to be Priyanka Chopra because she's one person who's achieved great heights in her career, and B, I really relate to her because she comes from a military background too, and my father used to serve in the Indian Navy too. He's retired now. So I think and she's killed it. She's killed it. She like you know killed it in Bollywood. Now she's gone to Hollywood. I also relate to her a lot because she comes from a military background. I come from a military background. My dad used to serve in the Indian Navy. He's retired now. So I don't know. And like she's on her way to becoming Tom Cruise, which is anyway my ultimate goal. So I think, yeah, her whole journey has been very inspiring. And she has also kind of changed and adapted herself, started new business ventures, tried different things. So I think, yeah, her career trajectory is something that is really inspiring. Yeah.
Last question अगर मैं आपको पूछूं, of course as an actress there is no limit. You want to play multiple characters, अलग-अलग चीजें करना है, like we discussed, action hero से लेके सब कुछ करना है. और अगर मैं पूछूं that one dream role, अगर say it can be from the yesteryears, रेखा जी का कोई रोल हो या फिर you know सुष्मिता सेन, रानी मुखर्जी, काजोल, anyone, that one role अगर आपको मौका दिया जाए कि boss listen, this was a role that was you know done by this person earlier, इसके part 2 में अगर if we do something or if we have in today's time relevant to today's time अगर हम ऐसा कुछ करें तो आपको करना है. कौन सी वो एक्ट्रेस होगी और कौन सा वो प्रोजेक्ट दैट यू वुड वांट टू टेक?
एक शो आया था क्वींस गैम्बिट. if you have watched it, based on chess. मेरे को वैसा रोल करना है, something which is it's very offbeat, like you can never put a finger on ये character है क्या. Like what is this character, and she's a genius, and the way that whole thing is conceptualized and like you know every single thought, every single emotion is communicated. So something like that if I get to do in life, बहुत मजा आएगा. या फिर मेरे को मुझे I think cop बनना है.
Cop.
Also why, because मेरे को देख के like in the way I carry myself, the way I put out, देख के कोई इमेजिन नहीं करेगा.
That's what I was thinking in my mind कि I think cutest cop का अगर कोई award दिया जाए तो बरखा सिंह को दिया जाएगा.
No, so that's what I'm saying. Like I think as an actor,
that's breaking stereotypes in a way.
100%, and as an actor आप कितना कुछ कर सकते हो with hair, makeup and all. That's one side. You can also play around a lot with your facial expressions, your body language, your voice, your something. So as an actor, like my thrill is to surprise filmmakers, to surprise producers, to surprise directors, surprise audiences, to see me in ways that they'll be like, oh shit, ये तो ये लग रही है, oh shit,
पहचानी नहीं जा रही है.
Or like someone, like the biggest compliment for me, if someone knows me and be like, that is Barkha. So that is something I want to do, and that can be any character, you know. Police तो मैं बोल रही हूँ because that's something that came to my mind कि हाँ, I don't think मैं police लगती हूँ, but maybe with the right hair and makeup, you can look anything. Kamal Hassan sir looked like Chachi 420, you know, with the right hair, makeup, voice, body language. So I think everything is possible with the kind of technology and prosthetics we have now. I think I just want to explore and try to do different things. So yeah, but to answer your question, Queen's Gambit is a show that I would love to be part of.
You know, a long chat, heartfelt conversation, a lot of interesting stuff. which we hadn't explored earlier.
Ever, yeah.
I think मुझे बहुत मजा आया, and I think just like how I mentioned, you had 5 releases earlier in the last year. I wish
Lucky.
there is a space where you have 10, and ऐसे करके करके बढ़ते जाए, and not
Wow.
just quantity. Let's hope and pray that also the quality part is taken care of when it comes to Barkha Singh. Fantastic actress, fantastic content creator, very dear friend. Thank you so much once again for supporting me and being over
Thank
here.
you
It's
for
my
your
pleasure.
sweet, kind words.
I-
इतने अच्छे से मेरे को introduce किया. I was like, wow.
You have to do that. थोड़ा personal bias तो दोस्त लोग के लिए आ ही जाता है. You can't really do anything. But guys, thank you so much. You've been a very patient audience. That's a wrap on the Sunny G Show by Rohit Consulting Firm. This is your host Shubhajit. I'll see you again with another interesting episode very soon. Keep supporting Barkha the way you are. Thank you so much.
Subscribe.